Hey guys, welcome to episode number 508. Today is Tuesday, so I have another tank tip for you. And today I wanted to talk about the Never Clog air stones because I was curious if these things are actually safe for your aquarium. Now, why would I think that? Well, number one, they do come from China. Number two, they are pretty cheap. And number three, if you shake them, you can hear that there is some sort of weight inside the base of this air stone. And I was curious as to what kind of metal or what kind of weight was in the air stone itself. So what I did was I bought three. Took about a month for them to get here from China, but I thought it was worth it to pop these open and to look inside so that we could find out exactly what's inside them and if they are safe for your aquarium. So these do come in a number of different shapes and sizes, and obviously some pretty fantastic colors as well. But the premise of these is that it's a Never Clog air stone. It's made out of plastic, so it essentially will never break. These sections do pop apart, so you can clean them if they do get clogged. You can clean them out and then reattach them together, and you've got bubbles in your aquarium once again. So the premise is a really good idea. Price is really good, but I was a little skeptical if these are actually 100% safe for the aquarium. So what I did here was I popped it open. You can see there's a little bottom cap which actually comes right off. It's not glued, it's not sealed in any way. So all you need to do is take like a sharp knife or blade, and that bottom pops right off. And once we pop that off, we find this. We've got three little pieces of metal, and I wasn't sure what these were, so I did a couple tests on them. But one thing I like to do is just look at something and sort of analyze it and figure it out from there. So if you look at these, you can see that the edges are very shiny and that the surfaces are dull. And if you look closely, you can see that one edge has sort of a rounded corner to it, and then the other edge is sort of a flatter, sharper edge. And what that tells me is that these were probably punched out of a sheet of metal. So, knowing that these came from China and knowing some of the practices that they have in terms of their creative thinking in creating products, I wouldn't be surprised if what they did was they took the scraps from some sort of sheet metal company that punches holes in sheet metal and took those little scraps that you see here, stack three of them up on top of each other, stick them in the end of this, pop the cap on, and call it a day. And so to test that, I have these really strong neodymium magnets, and you can see that these are in fact a magnetic metal. I know for a fact that this is not stainless steel and it's not aluminum, which are probably the two least destructive metals you could probably put in an aquarium environment. So the next thing I did was I actually put some in a little glass of aquarium water and I let it set for a week. And that's the results. As you can see, there's quite a bit of rust that has been formed, and it's mostly along the edges. Those edges that are brand new and shiny look like they're creating the most amount of rust. But it's pretty clear that these will rust over time in your aquarium. Now, does that mean it's unsafe? Does that mean it's going to kill your fish? Probably not. I mean, there is rust in rocks in natural streams and lakes and rivers and whatnot. So it's not like it's immediately going to kill all of your fish and it's going to be a complete disaster. Also, these things, even though they're not completely sealed, it's something that would leach out extremely slowly from this container. But if you do look, and I don't know if I can get a good shot of that, there is a little bit of rust residue already in the cavity of this from just not even being in water. That's just how I got it. There's a little bit of rust in it, and obviously once it's been in water for a week, we've got rust all over the place. So what would I recommend? If you're going to use these things, what I would recommend is probably popping the tops off of these, taking the metal out, and potentially just replacing it with a little stone, some sand, maybe a little epoxy, anything you can get your hands on that you know is going to be fish safe, aquarium safe, but still heavy enough to sink the air stone in the aquarium. So that's sort of my takeaway. I think this is an important thing to realize, and it's an important thing to question products, especially new products, when you see them, to find out if they are safe, find out if it is something that you want to introduce into your aquarium, and make your decision from there. So anyways, guys, I thought this was a neat little product. I'm not a huge fan of the funky colors. Definitely not a fan of the metal at all. So if you are going to use these, like I said, I would recommend removing that and finding some other weight that is a little less toxic, a little less corrosive for your aquarium environment. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the little science experiment, and I'll see you guys later.